Next topic, that is functions of saliva. Okay, first thing, that first point in the functions of saliva, that it is the defense. First one, that is defense. Okay, means fighting against some of the bacteria, some of the other organism or the pathogens. That is it also acts as an antibacterial agent as well as the antifungal agent, and as well as it also involved in some of the immunological processes. Immunological processes, immune system. Okay, second function, that is the digestive function. Digestive function. Here in the digestive function or in the digestion, here what is the role of the saliva means? It contains some of the digestive enzymes. It contains some of the digestive enzymes. And what are the digestive enzymes over here? So that is thiamine. Thiamine is it is salivary amylase. One more name for this thiamine, that is the salivary amylase, as well as one more enzyme is there, that is the actase. Okay, these two enzymes are mainly involved or very important in the digestion. Second function in the digestion, that it is involved in the formation of bolus. Formation of bolus. What you mean by bolus over here means, if this is the food and this is the saliva, this saliva starts adhering when the food is going to consume in the mouth or in the oral cavity. At that time, it starts to adhere with the food material, by which it will form a ball-like mass or mass-like ball-like mass. Okay, which will be sticky, too much sticky. That it is the bolus. That formation of bolus, it is due to mainly that is the saliva. And third one, the third function, that is the protective function. Protective function. Okay, in protection, how it is involved with? So it protects the coating from soft tissues and the hard tissues. Here, it protects the coating from soft tissues, and hard tissues, like teeth. Okay. The next fourth function here, that is lubricating function. Next, the fourth function is the lubricating function. So let's see, in the lubricating function, it keeps the oral cavity moist, by which it provides a lubrication to the food to enter into the food pipe. That it keeps the oral cavity of the mouth in a moist condition. Cavity moist. This is also very important for swallowing the food. Then it facilitates the speech. The next, third one, helps in masticating and swallowing. Helps in masticating and swallowing. Okay, so this is about the and last function that it maintains the buffer function. So these all are what? These all are the functions of the saliva. So next we will go for the salivary digestion. Next, that it is the salivary digestion. Okay, here in the mouth, okay, in the presence of food, in mouth stimulates the flow of saliva. See here, in the presence of food, in mouth, in the presence of food in mouth. Okay, here the mouth will stimulate the flow of saliva. Not only the presence, the mouth is going to stimulate the flow of saliva, but also if you even thought of the food, okay, not only the presence of food inside the mouth will secrete the saliva, but also thought of food. If you are remembering any food item in your mind, then immediately there will be salivary secretion is going to take place. Thought of food also stimulates the saliva in the mouth, as well as sight or smell of food. If you see some food items or smell some of the food, that also is going to stimulate the flow of saliva. Sight and smell of food. Okay, the next, it can cause saliva to flow from the salivary glands. Okay, as well as some of the other things which are not only the food items, some other salts, some other acids, and many other chemical agents also stimulate the salivary secretions. Acids, salts, and some chemicals. They can also stimulate the flow of saliva. Okay, so this is about the saliva, how it is going to flow inside the mouth. So next, let's see, come to the main point, that is the digestion of saliva. See here, next thing, that is salivary digestion occur in the presence of an enzyme, and what is the name of that enzyme is that is the salivary amylase. Okay, what is that enzyme? That it is the salivary amylase, which is also known as the thiamine. What it is also known as? It is also known as the thiamine in the saliva. So this thiamine or the salivary amylase, it acts on the starch. It acts on starch. Okay, this starch will break down not directly into glucose but some complex carbohydrates. Okay, this starch. So here, starch will break down into what are the particular products means, that is soluble starch, the next that is erythrodextrin, and one more that is acrodextrin. Okay, these are the three substances in the presence of an enzyme, salivary amylase. This saliva, starch, see, this salivary amylase will act on the starch. Here the starch will break down into some of the simpler form, not completely, some of the simpler form, that is soluble starch, erythrodextrin and acrodextrin. And finally these substances will convert into the maltose. In what it is going to convert? That is into the maltose. Okay. See, it has to note that the salivary amylase does not completely. It is important to note that salivary amylase does not completely hydrolyze starch to glucose. Okay, directly salivary amylase is not going to convert the starch into the glucose, but first it is going to convert it to the maltose. Later it is going to hydrolyze into the glucose. You see here, salivary amylase. It is important to note that see here, whatever the salivary amylase is there, it does not completely hydrolyze the, does not completely hydrolyze the starch. Hydrolyze starch to glucose. Okay, directly conversion or breaking down of starch into glucose, that is not going to completed with what? With the enzyme, that is the salivary amylase. But it is starch is going to convert into the maltose. Okay, then this maltose further it is going to hydrolyze in the presence of an enzyme maltase. In the presence of an enzyme maltase, this maltose gets converted or hydrolyzed into the glucose. But this process, see here, the breakdown of starch into the maltose will take place in mouth. Okay, in the presence of an enzyme, salivary amylase. Okay, it is taking place in what? In the mouth. But this maltose gets hydrolyzed in the presence of an enzyme maltase, and it will form a glucose. This reaction will not take place in the mouth, but it is going to take place in the intestine. Which intestine? That is the small intestine. Okay, it is going to take place in what? Breaking down of maltose into the glucose. It is taking place in small intestine. Okay, before that, the starch will get converted into maltose in the mouth in the presence of enzyme salivary amylase. Okay, so here the glucose, a form which can be absorbed by what? By the small intestine. The conversion of starch to maltose. See here. Yes, see, the conversion of starch to maltose, which is taking place in the mouth, it can be tested with iodine. It can be whether the starch is converted into maltose or not. Okay, that can be tested. It can be tested by what? By a substance that is known as the iodine. Okay, and here, how you will know, you come to know whether there is a converted or the starch gets converted into maltose or not. You can test by using what? By using the iodine. The conversion of starch gives blue color with iodine. At that time, the starch, it gives a blue color. If you perform some experiment on the starch, if it is converted into maltose, at that time the starch will give a blue color. Okay, so that means with iodine, blue color. If you mix the starch with iodine, it gives a blue color. The next thing, as starch gives a blue color, as starch hydrolyzes the mixture, gives a red color with iodine because of the, if the starch it is giving a red color due to the presence or due to the formation of, if it is giving blue color means that starch is converted into maltose. If it is giving red color means there is a formation of erytrodextrin. Okay, red color means there is a presence of, or that starch gets hydrolyzed into what? Into the erytrodextrin. And finally, if there is no color, totally there is no color, if you keep the starch or mix the starch with iodine, if there is no color means that starch has broken down. Here, no color means it has formed what? Erytrodextrin. Okay, then here you see blue color, starch gets converted into maltose. Red color, formation of erytrodextrin. No color, acrodextrin. Okay, so in this way the digestion in the mouth is going to take place. Next, in the next class, we will see about how there are three processes are there: mastication, degglutination, and one more, that it is the what we call peristalsis movement. Okay, these are the motor activities of digestive system. Okay, that we have to see in the next class. Motor activities, in which three topics has to be completed: deglutition, mastication, and peristaltic movement. Okay, except that we have to see about the digestion in stomach, which is one of the very big topic in this chapter. Okay, we will continue the next class. Thank you.